Hello there! What is going on, everyone? Today we are diving in and taking a look at the new Star Wars The Deckbuilding Game from Fantasy Flight Games, a game designed by Caleb Grace. This is going to be a two-player deck building game based in the Star Wars universe. It says it takes about 30 minutes to play, so very, very cool. It's funny that it says 2 players, but it shows a picture of 3 people. I think that's probably just the iconography for number of players, but I thought that's a little bit funny. Very cool stuff here. Now we've got, we're going to unbox this. We're going to take a look at it and kind of walk through it a little bit. I also got a pretty cool thing with my purchase for some sleeves, the Game Genic sleeves for the Star Wars deck building game. I usually don't sleeve games that I like because once I put sleeves on a game, 9 times out of 10, I'll never end up playing it again. I feel like that's the curse of the sleeves. The only game that broke that was Star Wars Rebellion. So who knows? Maybe if I sleeve this one, I'll be able to play this one too. So if you guys are new here to the channel, we do talk about Star Wars gaming quite a bit, and we are currently doing a $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. So if you want to have a chance to enter to win that, all you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Looks like they definitely used some of the a lot of existing artwork that's already out there. A lot of these are like that's the same Luke Skywalker from Star Wars Destiny. So maybe some Destiny players will see some very familiar artwork on these cards, which is very cool. So let's go ahead and dive into Star Wars: The Deck Building Game. All right, so let's see what we have in the box here. We have our rule book. And we've got lots of other interesting stuff here. So we've got some cubes here. These are going to be for damage and for resources. And of course, this little guy is for the Force. We'll talk about that in a minute. We've got lots of packs of cards. We've got cards that are going to represent like the Force board. You can build like a little board, put like 2 cards together for that. We've got like neutral cards. If you're not familiar with deck builders are pretty common genre of games. We've got a lot of different packs of cards. In a deck builder, basically you start with a very, very small basic deck of cards, and you're trying to grow your deck and have it become more powerful more quickly than your opponent grows their deck and becomes more powerful. And in this game, the goal of making that deck powerful is to destroy bases, and they're going to be in here somewhere. So I'm going to have to open up these cards. We'll get these kind of opened up. We'll take a look at the starter decks, and we'll take a look at all the other cards that are available in this one. So I want to kind of just show you guys the rule book really quick. This is going to kind of show you the components list. This is kind of how that balance of the Force track is going to look. It gives you some setup diagrams, some examples of how the board will look when it's set up. You have your balance of the Force track over there, your Rebel play area, your Empire play area, as well as all the available cards. Basically, you're going to be playing cards, getting attack power and buying power to buy new cards and then to attack your opponent. And that's kind of how a lot of deck builders work. They're not always about attacking, but they usually, all deck builders usually have an aspect of buying cards. So you've got your card anatomy, you've got your factions, and of course it's only Empire and Rebels. There are some neutral cards though, so which is pretty cool. All of your rules stuff, but there's another page that I want to get to because it's important to get to the last page, because I always like to see, we've got a little FAQ there in the back. Oh, it's always nice to see our little credits page. So you see all your names up there. Big thanks to Caleb Grace and Molly Glover and everybody who helped to bring this game to life. And really, really cool people in here. And look at that. There's some names you might recognize in here, like that one. There you go. Oh, look at that. All right. So, yes, I did play test on this game, and it's always nice to own a copy of a game that your name is in the credits for. So, very cool stuff. All right, so first I want to show you guys the cards. You've got this Force tracker here, which is going to start with the Force in the middle. And whenever you play cards that have a Force symbol on them, it'll be able to push the Force closer. If you're an Empire player and you play like an Inquisitor or something like that, it'll push the Force closer to your side. If I'm the Imperial player and the Force is on one of the 3 spaces that are my side, then the Force will be quote-unquote with me. and that'll be referenced on certain cards. They'll say, if the force is with you, then do something. Vice versa, or, you know, of course, if it's on the other side, then it's with the rebel player. If it's all the way to my side, or to another player's side, at the start of their turn, they get an extra resource, so one more money to buy cards with. So that's kind of what the force does in this game. We've got some quick reference cards that go over the terms and the turn sequence. And then we have some of our starter cards. So we'll look at the Rebel starter cards first. You've got a couple of Rebel Troopers. These are your shooters. Those are your basic starter cards. You've got some Alliance Shuttles. These give you buying power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. So we got 7 Alliance Shuttles, 2 Rebel Troopers, and a Temple Guardian. So that's going to make up your starting deck of 10 cards. You're going to be shuffling all of these. You'll draw 5 cards, and then you play all your cards whenever you, and then you, at the end of your turn, you're going to discard all your cards, draw 5 new cards. Whenever you cannot draw, you will then shuffle your discard pile and then draw some more cards. But you're going to be using a lot of these Alliance Shuttles to buy cards that are going to be in the area in front. And we'll do a little kind of a setup example of that. But in addition to the Rebel starting cards, we've also got these Rebel bases, and because I'm all about that base. The bases have certain text on them, like the Dantooine starts. It has 8 health. And basically, you're going to have like 5 bases in the starter game, but there's 10 altogether, so you can play an advanced game that runs all 10 bases. So we've got Mon Cala. It's got basically once Dantooine gets destroyed, with your opponent gets enough enough guns, enough firepower to destroy Dantooine. Of course, you can mark it with damage as it starts to take damage. It doesn't have to be destroyed all at once. Then you're going to reveal another base. First, a player to blow up 3 bases of their opponent wins. But you'll be able to select which base you want, and they're going to have different things. So Mon Cala has different abilities than Tatooine. It's like, when you reveal Tatooine, swap a card in the Galaxy row with a Rebel card from the Galaxy discard pile and gain a money. So, like, depending on the situation, you know what? Actually, right now, I might need to jump to Sullust instead of Tatooine, or something like that. And we've got Yavin 4. We also have Hoth. We have Bespin, Dagobah, Alderaan. Alderaan is peaceful. We have no weapons. And Jeddah. So those are the Rebel starter cards. We've also got some Imperial starter cards, and much the synergistic game flow as you might expect. We're going to see 2 Stormtroopers, 7 Imperial shuttles, and an Inquisitor, which will let you gain kind of whatever you want when you play this one. But it's a good way to get force early on in the game. The starter bases are going to be Lothal, which is going to be your starter base. You're also going to have Corellia, Coruscant, the Death Star, oh man, Endor, Mustafar, Kafrene, Ord Mantell, Kessel, and Rhodia. So those are our starter cards. You're also going to have some neutral cards that are going to be off to the side that anybody can buy. And it's going to be the Outer Rim Pilot. You're going to have like 10 of these or so. These are always available. And a lot of deck building games have something that's always available. So that's the Outer Rim Pilot. And then we've got these. These are all of the cards that are going to make up like the Galaxy line. These are all the extra cards. We've got lots of these. Let's see what we got here. All right, so it looks like we got about 30 cards for the Rebels, 30 cards for the Empire, and 30 cards that are neutral. So we'll look at the Rebel cards first. We've got some Y-Wings. We've got Baze Malbus in there. We've got 2 Snow Speeders. We've got 2 generic Duros Spies. We've got some Rebel Transports. These guys are going to come out this way, and the capital ships are pretty cool because they function a little bit differently. We've got Chirrut Imwe. So it's nice that we've got unique characters and generic characters. We've got 2 Rebel Commandos. We got 3 X-Wings, which again, the fighters, the Star Fighters are going to be played like normal cards, but the capital ships are going to go out and they actually persist, which is really cool. And we've got Chewbacca. We've got Jyn Erso. Also, one of the interesting things you're going to notice, a lot of these characters have an upside down number on them too. We're going to talk about that. It's for like bounties and sabotage. And basically, it's a way for your opponent to like blow these cards up so you can't get them. It's a way to deny people cards. We've got 2 U-Wings. We've got some more capital ships. We got 2 Hammerhead Corvettes. Gotta love them. Gotta love them. We got Han Solo. Solo Mabuki. We've got Cassian Andor. We've got 2 B-Wings, greatest starfighter in all of Star Wars. I will die on that hill. The Princess Leia. We've got 2 Mon Calamari cruisers. We've got the Millennium Falcon and Luke Skywalker. All right, for the Empire, this would be very symmetric, even though I think canonically, of course, the Rebels and the Empire weren't perfectly symmetric, but we're making a deck building game. Deck building games are a little bit abstract, right? So we've got 3 TIE fighters. We've got Admiral Piet. We got 2 TIE bombers. We got 2 scout troopers on their little bikes. We got 2 death troopers. We got 2 TIE interceptors. We got our first capital ships. We got 3 Gozanti cruisers. We've got Moff Jerjerrod. We've got General Veers. We've got 2 ATSTs. We've got 2 landing craft. We've got Director Krennic. We've got Boba Fett. Oh, Boba Fett is Imperial. He's working for the Empire here. He's not a neutral card. We've got 2 Quasar Imperial carriers, although they're just called Imperial carriers here. We've got Grand Moff Tarkin. That's great art on that Tarkin card, by the way. I mean, great art on all of these, for sure. We got an AT-AT, just 1. We've got 2 Imperial Star Destroyers. And, you guessed it, Darth Vader himself. Notice we do not have the Emperor in this one. Makes me smell an expansion, perhaps? Could be, maybe someday. Who knows? The door is always open for these kind of things, right? All right, for our neutral cards, we've got 2 Z95 Headhunters. We've got 2 Jawa Scavengers. We've got 2 Rodian Gunslingers. We've got 2 Keldor Mystics. We've got Lobot. We've got Bosk. See, Bosk isn't working for the Empire. Boba Fett is, though, huh? I guess he doesn't like Han Solo. We've got 2 Fangs. We've got 2 Twi'lek Smugglers. We've got 2 Sea Rock Cruisers again. Oh, look at that. Nah. So we got some capital ships that are neutral. We've got Dengar. Man, we're going to get all the bounty hunters neutral except for Boba. Maybe there's a neutral Boba also. Who knows? Quarren Mercenaries. We got 2 HWKs. We got, some generic blockade runners. Look at that. Okay. We've got IG-88. We got some Nebulons. Nebulon frigates. Those are not Rebel. Oh, the Rebels are going to want those. Lando Calrissian is neutral. What? We got Jabba's sail barge and Jabba the Hutt himself. All right. Pretty cool stuff. I think that's all of the cards in this box. Let's kind of do a quick setup and give you an example to play. All right, so to set up the board, I'm going to have my force tracker over here with the little die in the middle. I'm going to put my outer rim pilots this way. All the neutral cards are going to be oriented kind of sideways, whereas if I'm the Imperial player, that's where I am sitting, all of the Imperial cards will be oriented facing me. All the Rebel cards will be oriented facing the Rebel player. And so if you'll notice, in a kind of a sample first round, we've got a Rebel Y-Wing over here, a neutral Keldor Mystic. Over here, we've got a Star Destroyer here. We've got a HWK, we got a TIE Bomber, and then a Luke Skywalker. So as the Imperial player, the only things that are available to me to potentially buy are the TIE Bomber and the Star Destroyer. But before I get into even buying or attacking or any of that, what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle my 10 cards. Remember, we talked about that, the Stormtroopers and the Inquisitor and then the Imperial Shuttles, right? We'll shuffle these up, and I'm going to draw 5. And so I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so here we go. So I'm going to be able to play these in any order I choose. Basically, a lot of times you just kind of lay them all down in front of you and be like, all right, so I'm going to use this one, this one, this one, and this one. So basically, I've got 4 firepower with my 2 Stormtroopers. We've got 2 buying power for my shuttles, and I've got an Inquisitor that I could either, it's kind of a wild. I could be a firepower, I could be a buying power, a credits, right? Or I could have it be a force. Now the game gives you these tokens that I can use for credits. So I can be like, all right, I'm playing this, I'll get 1 credit, so I can actually have physical credits, but they all go away at the end of your turn. Now, in a lot of deck builders, I don't actually use these, but these can be helpful when you're learning the game, especially if you're new to deck builders, to just help you visualize how many credits you have. And this way, we're like, okay, I want to buy that TIE Bomber, boom, there go my 2 credits, right? So, and that's actually all I have right now is 2 credits for the Imperial Shuttle. The Inquisitor, I could use that for the Force, and I have my Force tracker upside down. There we go. If I'm the Imperial player, it should be that way. So I could pull that one space towards me. The force will now be with me. That'll be relevant in the future. And if I can keep playing it, maybe I can pull it closer down to me here. Plus, in this case, it's not going to help me very much. Now, so I'll buy the TIE Bomber. That'll go in my discard pile, and then I can get that in again in the future. And so it's an upgrade because it's a little bit better than what I have already. The Stormtroopers have the same amount of firepower, but this also has an extra ability. So I'd rather play this than a Stormtrooper because it's just a little bit better. As we get slightly more expensive things like this HWK, if I could have afforded this, which I cannot, then this one would have been worth 4 buying power, and then I could exile it, which is to remove it from the game entirely, to repair 4 damage to your base, which is a pretty cool card. I can't afford this. I can't afford that though. I can't afford the Star Destroyer just yet. I'm afraid my Rebel counterpart is going to be in a similar predicament where they're going to be able to buy Luke. They won't be able to afford Luke Skywalker because he costs 8. But they probably will be able to afford a Y-wing. And maybe I want to screw them over a little bit and say, I don't want you to build up your forces to attack me. So maybe my Stormtroopers, they could attack your base. I'm going to take purple counters and put those straight on the base, and like, boom, you got some damage. Or I could try to do a bounty. I could attack a card in the row here. And so that's why while this is the Rebel card here, that's why it's upside down right here. Because if I can get 1 firepower on there, I get to gain 1. Now I can't split these up, right? Any excess. So I can have 1 Stormtrooper shoot there, and that's gonna basically kill that. I could get the reward, which could gain me a money, and then I could actually in turn say, you know what, actually instead of the force, if I wanted to save the Inquisitor for last, I could have used you plus these 2, and then the one reward from this to get that 4 to buy the HWK instead of the bomber. So you have a little bit of options. Not a whole lot of options though, because all the Rebel cards are off limits to me. So basically, let's say I bought the HWK, whatever comes out. Now we'll replace that in the line, and there's a TIE Interceptor, which is pretty cool. And so basically the cards that are available will continue to refresh as things get purchased. But whatever I buy will go into my deck. Then once my turn is over, all my money goes away. My cards go into my discard pile, and along with the HWK that I just bought. And then I'll draw 5 more cards from the deck. And then if any time I'm required to draw, but I cannot, then it will be time for me to shuffle my deck and then draw 5 new cards. So that's when you're going to start getting all those cards that you bought. Now this next turn, I'm going to have 5 Imperial Shuttles, so I'm going to be able to buy something kind of expensive. Still not enough to afford something like a Star Destroyer or a Luke Skywalker, right? So you have to get cards that have higher amounts. And so that's one of those things that's good for if I were to draw a bunch of resources and an HWK, I could potentially afford those things. And so that's the value of that. Now, capital ships are going to work a little differently. When a capital ship gets played, it stays out, and so it's going to get to attack every round. But capital ships can't attack the cards in the galaxy line; they can only attack bases. And capital ships also can only go away once they take damage equal to their damage value, their damage threshold. And so one of the cool things about this, though, is that my opponent has to attack my capital ships before they can attack my base. Now, if they do destroy my base, I get to pick another one at the start of my turn and then reveal it, and then things will happen. Once somebody destroys 3 bases, the game is over. And that is Star Wars The Deck Building Game in a nutshell. All right, so that is a quick look at Star Wars The Deck Building Game. One thing I didn't talk about yet that I do want to also bring your attention to is this insert is actually really good. Fantasy Flight Games has been, in the past, notorious for having not my favorite game inserts. Sometimes there's just a piece of cardboard folded in there to kind of hold everything together. And a deck building game, it really wants to be organized, and this is going to allow you to do that. You've got spots for your Rebel cards, your Imperial cards. You've got a spot in here for neutral cards, and then you've got a spot here for all your other cards. You can put all of your little tokens over in here, and it looks like it's going to hold sleeved cards just fine. I mean, these will fit. Even the sleeves in the packages, well, do they? Well, they'll fit in there just fine. So you can fit all your sleeved cards in there. I mean, that's the sleeves with the packaging on them too. So I haven't even sleeved this thing yet, which is really cool. So I like that. I like the fact that they have a good insert that's going to allow for potential expansion, as well as just sorting and quick setup, and without things just flopping around in there. It's a kind of a bigger box too. Usually, like a lot of deck builders that are just cards, kind of come in a smaller box, kind of like that. So just to give you an idea. But yeah, this game definitely does feel a little bit like Star Realms. If you've played Star Realms before, I personally plan to try to play this game with a house rule that says, screw it, you can buy Imperial stuff if you're the Rebels, you can buy Rebels if you're the Imperial player. That's something that I have always wanted to do, and I like the idea of being able to mix and match, and I think it'll give the deck building flavor more of a true deck builder feel. I know that that's not a variant that's even legal in the rule book, but that's something I'm going to try and test for a house rules variant. But I want to hear, if you guys are playing this, have you tried doing that yet? Open up the playing field and let's see, see what happens if you just open up and everybody can buy everything. Let's see what happens in that case. I think it would be interesting. But either way, if that fails, then you just play the game as intended. There is an advanced rules that talk about using all 10 of your planet cards, so you have a lot more options of what you want to reveal, and then in that case you play until the first person defeats 4 bases as opposed to 3 to kind of have the longer game. So you have a lot of options with this. Looks like it'll be a quick, fun game set in the Star Wars universe. What more could you ask for? Check it out, and that is going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. If you like what you see here, I got a lot more Star Wars content. Be sure to check the links in the description below. I will talk to you later. Join our Discord. Keep the conversation going. And big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing and help make this channel possible. So thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. So say we all. Party on, dudes. You can't take the sky from me. Cowabunga. The spice must flow.